Okay, hello, beautiful souls. Hmm. Just gonna give it a moment for people to arrive, and then we'll get started. Okay. All right, so welcome to this beautiful forgiveness session. How many of you are suffering from a pretty harsh inner critic in your lives that tells you that you're never good enough? I know a lot of people have expressed some angst about that inner critic that just doesn't seem to shut up or give them a break. And so that's definitely something you're not alone on. And how many of you are carrying some resentments in your life? And you know that there's a particular person or situation that still haunts you, that still replays in your mind, and where it just feels like it's not complete. Perhaps it's preventing you from really moving forward in your life and from being that confident, loving, amazing person that you are, from expressing yourself authentically. How many of you have some extra weight that you could let go of, that you know you're carrying the past with you and it's feeling heavy and you are tired all the time and could use a little bit more energy and energy flow in your life? So I want you to just type in the chat. If you're here on our Facebook or if you're here on Zoom, you can also use the chat room. You know, what are you experiencing? Tell me where you're from. And yeah, just a moment to introduce yourself and let us know that you're here with us live today. Or you can do hashtag replay if you catch the replay of this later. So just giving you a moment to arrive in this time, in this space. Taking a few long, slow, deep breaths. And just allow all parts of you to be here. Let yourself know that it's safe to be here. So I'm just connecting in with everyone here live with us today, with everyone on the replay. I can feel the energy. And there's definitely some heaviness. So I'm going to do my best to assist you to let go of some of that heaviness, to let go of some of that resentment, to complete the past and really make yourself more available for the beauty of the presence, for uncovering that divine, perfect, whole being that you are by letting go of everything that you're not, just bit by bit, to help you return to your original form. And that is my favorite definition of forgiveness, by the way, is to return to our original form, to loosen, to let go, and to free yourself. So how many of you would like to live with more freedom and more flow? Yeah, good stuff. So that's what forgiveness is all about. It's not really about, saying that what somebody did to you that was harmful or hurtful is okay. Some people have some definitions of forgiveness and ideas of forgiveness that are false. That, it's really about freeing yourself to be yourself, to express yourself, letting go of anything and everything that's interfering with that. So let me just ask you, what is interfering with your ability to truly be and express yourself, to be that confident, courageous gift to the world, to your friends, to the family, to share your gifts with the world, to live a life of purpose and meaning? What's blocking you? What's keeping you from that place? maybe just type it in the chat. Okay, I'm kind of new to this, so I can't really, let me see if I can see the comments and the chats on my Facebook. Yeah, I'm not. So I'll definitely, whatever you type in the chat, I'll be sure to address it after this live until I get a little bit more well-versed on streaming on Zoom and on Facebook at the same time. So forgive me for that. This is definitely a learning curve to convert my business to an online platform. So I'll just forgive myself right now for some of that inability to do these things the way that I'd like to. And I will get better and better at it. Yeah, so how many of you have heard of Ho'oponopono? That is one of the most powerful tools that I know to release the past, to forgive yourself, to cleanse and to clear that old stuck energy that can cause disease in your body. And some of you are suffering from that, right? The heaviness and the resentments and the emotional trauma that you've been through, maybe from way back, is still stuck in the cells of your body and interfering with your body's ability to really be energized and to work properly. Maybe it's stuck in a certain organ. Some anger might be stuck in your liver, some sadness in your kidney. You know, we carry the traumas in our body and they start to affect us physically. And so it's really important to complete the past. And forgiveness is the best way I know to clear that and to clear karma so that we can move forward in our lives, to return us to peace, to surrender what we're not, and really connect with the divine, beautiful, loving soul that we are, and realize that. Like a realization. I love that word, realization. If you break it down, realization, to have a realization of who you really are, is really to realize the real I, the bigger I, the true self, who you really are. And that's that divine, perfect, whole, complete soul that came here to evolve and to grow. And that soul knows that everything that happens to you is an opportunity for growth and an opportunity for your own evolution and to get to the next level of your life. So I'm going to take about the first half of the session to just really, talk about what's in your way, what's stopping you from moving forward, from truly loving yourself. What really is forgiveness? And then I'm going to lead you in the second half through an experience of forgiveness, an actual session of Ho'oponopono. So you can start to feel the effects of this incredible tool that truly is one of the most freeing things I've ever done for myself. So I'm Jerry Turand. My business is Living from Heart Center. And that really is what I strive to do here, is to live from that place of truth, of freedom, of who I really am, that from heart and from the center of who I am. And that is my mission, is to help you to also connect with that divine love that you are and have an experience of who you really are. Pour in the love, make it unconditional, level it up. Love to me is a frequency, it's a vibration more than a feeling. And us as humans, we have all sorts of ideas of love, and our definitions of love vary quite a bit. And really what I've come to realize is that we are that. We are love waiting to express. It's already within us, just like our purpose. Everything is already within us. The problem is that we have all of these ideas, all of these constructs, all of this baggage, these belief systems, this garbage that's in the way of us actually living from that place of who we truly are, living from truth, living from authentic expression, really living authentically, and also preventing us from truly connecting with another and seeing them and seeing the truth of who they are. So if you really think about it, we tend to connect with, when we're with another, especially a family member or a close friend or someone that we have a history with. When we're with that person, we're usually interacting with our ideas about the person more than with the person themselves, because we're not present. Most of us live in the past. We live in the future. We have ideas about who we think people are, especially our families. And I know I'm guilty of this, and I'm still, it's still a work in progress to actually just arrive and see the person fresh and new, see them for the first time, every time. And it's magical when you do, when you're actually able to just release all the ideas you have about them. Oh, they're always like this. They never do that. I know how this conversation is going to go. When I go to my family dinner, I know what's going to happen, who's going to say what, right? We have all these ideas, all these preconceived notions and ideas about who we think they are. And then we're interacting with those ideas, and we're not even allowing them to grow in our eyes, even if they've completely changed. And you can probably identify this with this for yourself, that it still feels like some of your friends and family still sees that the little version of yourself when you were young, when you were a child, when you were a teen, and speaks to that. And the result is that you don't feel truly seen, and you don't feel truly heard. And there's frustration at this not being seen and not being heard. Whereas if we can just let go of all of those sticky notes that we have all over the person of who we think they are, all of the judgments, all of the resentments that we collect resentments, and we'll throw them back in the face when it's convenient, right? and we have resentments collected, and we have all these sticky notes, all these labels, all these ideas, all these beliefs in between us and ourselves, in between us and another. And we have to just peel those all away and actually arrive and see them for the first time. And we also need to do this in the mirror every day. So it's not just about us and another and forgiving others, but really forgiving ourselves for judging others so harshly, for judging ourselves so harshly. And I know some of you have already come up with that's what's in the way. Fear, judgment, fear of rejection, fear of loss, all of the criticisms and the judgments that we have about ourselves, and then we tend to throw them on other people, right? Project what we think about ourselves. We tend to project on others because we really don't want to look at that stuff. It's not pleasant. And unfortunately, it's part of the process of awakening. So what I really want to do with this session is open up the possibility of you living more fully from that truth of who you are, from a place of unconditionally loving yourself. And then we can actually learn to unconditionally love others. And that doesn't mean that we keep people that are hurting us or not respecting us in our lives. When there's a lack of respect in relationship, usually that is a call for time and space. Because where there's no respect, where there's lots of judgments, there's no growth. You cannot grow in that same space where you're not respecting one another, respecting the differences of opinion, respecting where they're at, and that you might be living in two different realities. How many of you feel like you were born to the wrong family, and it feels like there's just this huge disconnect, and you live in a completely different reality than the rest of your family does? I can relate. And I love them, and I appreciate that, because that grows my soul. It grows me, and it gives me an opportunity to forgive. And really, I want to lead you through a session today that's a self-forgiveness session, because I feel like that's really what's needed. And I want people to be able to participate more fully in their lives, more fully in this group, and to really be available for inspiration, for that flow, for the abundance. And what's stopping you from being available to your own self, to your own purpose, to actually live from that place of this purposeful, meaningful life where you're just, you're just on fire with passion, with purpose, is that life gets heavy and we collect all this stuff. And eventually it's like we're dragging a bag of boulders behind us. So I have a glass of water here. So let me ask you, how heavy is this? How heavy is this water? So it's filled up. Yeah, so some of you say, oh, maybe just a few ounces, like 8 ounces or so, right? How heavy is it? The answer is it depends how long you carry it, how long you hold it. Right now, it's not that heavy. Like, I'm good. So when something first happens, it's not that bad. Give it an hour. Give it a couple hours. If I'm carrying this around, holding this around, eventually, my wrist starts to get problems. My whole arm, it'll eventually travel all the way up to my shoulder. It's going to start to affect everything. And it gets heavy the longer you carry it. And that's exactly what forgiveness does. Forgiveness helps you unpack and take out all the garbage, everything that you've been carrying, everything that's heavy, everything that's interfering with your ability to just flow with life, with you're not even available when you've got all this garbage all around you. You're not even available for something greater, for inspiration to flow through, because your judgments about yourself, that you're not worthy of being inspired, of being abundant, all those ideas that we're not good enough are what's in the way. And that's precisely what I'm going to be focusing on in the session today, is letting go of that idea, that belief that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy. And forgiving yourself for being so hard on yourself, so critical of yourself. And that translates into criticism of others. And that translates into comparison. So if you find yourself comparing yourself to others, like, how come it seems so easy for them? Or, I've been on this, I remember doing that a lot with my business, where I've been doing workshops and retreats since 2012. And then I'd watch people just start their business, and they'd have this beautiful online business with tons of people. And I'm like, why can't I do that? And they do all these Facebook lives, which definitely is like my big scary thing, right? Like video and talking to a camera. I'm like, and the fear that I wouldn't be able to connect with the energy. So, but I've done enough forgiveness work now that it's like, I can't let my smaller self and my fear be bigger than my purpose to serve love. And I'm here to serve love. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. And I know that I have powerful tools. I've helped hundreds of people, thousands of people even over the years. And yeah, my comfort zone is in person, like one-on-one or small group. So very interesting, the opportunity that COVID has granted. And I know it's granted a lot of us a huge opportunity to unpack and see what garbage are we still carrying, especially when we are asked to stay home and spend all this time with ourselves. Some of us are masters at avoiding that, right? We'll be doing the Netflix binging on Netflix, or we find that we're just like eating, or maybe we're making more visits to the liquor store, since that's an essential service. It's kind of interesting, all of these ways that we'll avoid actually looking at the shadow part of ourselves. And it's important. It's like we keep covering it up with a band-aid, right? Or pulling the carpet over. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. It's messy, it's ugly, and yes, it is. And that is part of the process of awakening to who you really are, living your truth, expressing your gifts in the world, living so that you can actually die with no regret. So just take a deep breath and just feel what's going on right now for you. I want you to become aware of your thoughts. And just take a breath alongside those thoughts and realize that you are not your thoughts. You're not what you think. You're the one that's aware of what you're thinking. You're the one that can, at any time that you're feeling all the inner critic pipe up and tell you the lies that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're not pretty enough, comparing yourself to other people. Remember that comparison is the death of joy. It removes joy from your life. So forgive yourself when you notice you're doing that, and know that it's something you've witnessed your parents doing. It's something you've witnessed your whole life. And so it just becomes part of how we behave, right? Is constantly comparing. And for some reason, we think that's going to motivate us to be better, to do better. But really, love is the true motivator, not guilt, not comparison, not beating on ourselves, but more believing in ourselves, just like we would for our children. How we can just unconditionally love our children, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. We can always see their perfection and love them. And our job as parents is to love, support, and believe in them until they believe in themselves. I kind of see that as my job in my self-love and awakening coaching practice, is to believe in you and help you unpack all of the stuff that's in the way, all of those judgments, all of those ideas, all of the traumas, all of the baggage, by just keep pouring in the love, pouring in the love. When you pour this pure liquid love into this beautiful vessel that you are, and you keep pouring it, you got to realize that the sand and the sludge and the gross stuff on the bottom is going to surface. So it stirs things up at first. So I know a lot of you have said that you're on that spiritual journey of awakening and realization, self-realization. And so there's a dark night of the soul as that stuff comes up, as you really realize more of who you are, have more experiences of who you are. You attend workshops and retreats, and you find that the next day, oh my gosh, I feel so much stuff. It can't stay in the high vibration of love that you've just poured in. So it has to surface, and it's coming up to leave. It's coming up to be thanked. Thank you. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the learning. To be thanked and to leave or be integrated. It can actually, when it's loved enough, it can let go of you. But until you see it, just like a child that's nagging at you, mommy, mommy, or daddy, daddy, like, see me, see me, see me. Then think about it. Like, if they're nagging at you and you're not seeing them, they're going to get louder and they're going to get more insistent. And then their behavior might also start to take over and do, like, it's crazy. So they might start to misbehave for your attention. And we do that with ourselves if we're refusing to see certain parts of ourselves, if we're refusing to embrace certain parts of ourselves. Then understand that they're going to get louder. They need to be seen. And until they're seen enough and loved enough, they can't let go. they're just going to run the show. And you know this because there's patterns in your life, right? You're going to have patterns in relationship, patterns in your workplace, patterns in your money journey, your abundance journey, all sorts of patterns when you haven't completed something and it's just nagging at you. So sometimes I describe it as kind of like a child holding on to the monkey bars, and their parent is underneath saying, just let go, I'll catch you. But they don't want to let go. Like they're too scared. So until they're loved enough and they trust you enough that, okay, I know you're going to catch me, I know I'm going to be okay, then they'll finally let go. And so these old beliefs and these old ideas are clinging for dear life until they're loved enough, until you're actually willing to look at them, to peel back the Band-Aid, to look underneath and to see the wounds and to embrace them and to say, oh, sweetie, you talk to your inner child and you reparent your inner child and just say, oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry that this was your experience, that you went through all of this. I love you and I'm listening. Or one of the magic phrases that I use with myself and in relationship is just asking my beloved, how can I love you more? And I actually do the same thing with my own head and my own heart. How can I love you more? How can I love you more? Are you feeling seen and heard? Have I been paying enough attention to my heart's desires, or am I too worried about what everyone else thinks and I'm putting them first and I'm going back into my default of people pleasing and putting everyone before myself and betraying my own heart? And then there's a sadness, and it feels like there's got to be more to life than this. It feels like something's missing. And I know a lot of you have that feeling. A lot of you have joined this group because there's something more. There's something more that you're meant to be and do in this life. And there's like a longing. So I invite you to consider that that's a longing from your own heart to actually be heard and seen. Remember that what you're feeling, you're healing. So when I feel impatient in my journey and I'm waiting for, come on, give me some sort of inspiration or download, like what's next? What am I supposed to be doing? And I'm not really feeling very motivated and I get impatient. Then I think, okay, what's the opportunity here? And how is this impatience showing up? Where in my body is impatience? What does it feel like in my body? Is it kind of in my chest area or my throat or my gut, feeling a little tight? And I just acknowledge it. And I actually welcome it. Welcome impatience. Welcome frustration. Welcome anger. Because as soon as you welcome something, you're in charge now. Your true self, your parent, your presence is there with it. So that bigger part of you is holding space for the child part of you, the wounded part of you, that has anger, that has impatience, that has sadness. And you welcome it. So I'm feeling impatient means I'm healing impatience for myself and for everyone. We're all connected. So if you're willing to feel it and witness it in your body, be with it, hold space for it. Eventually it's like the child on the monkey bars, and it's going to be able to let go. It's just going to be able to let go. So what if it's not all your job to let go of everything, to release? And people struggle with that. Like, it's just not letting go. Like there's always these layers after layers after layers of feeling like I'm never good enough. What if it lets go of you in layers, as it's loved, as it's felt? Your feelings shift very quickly if you actually fully dive in and welcome what's there. And forgive yourself for being human. We all have those experiences. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a self-improvement project that needs to be fixed. So Ho'oponopono is about, well, Ho'o is really the action of making things right. So Pono, living in Pono, is living in the perfection of life, living in harmony with all that is, returning to that right action, returning to that truth space, returning to your own divinity. So it's really just remembering that you are perfect, whole, and complete, just as you are, and you're here for the whole emotional human experience. It's remembering the divine love that you are. It's making yourself more available for that, to plug into source energy. And when we plug into who we really are, our higher selves, source, God, then suddenly we're not outsourcing our happiness to other people. We're not so dependent, we're not so codependent on others to be our source of happiness, to be our source of love, feeling like we need a relationship in order to fully be in love. Love is a frequency, love is a vibration. You don't actually need a relationship to be in love. Every day I say, I am in love with all that I see before me. And I ask to raise my vibration to the frequency of love, to reside there so that I can be the change that I wish to see, so that I can elevate other people with my very presence, a loving presence, a compassionate presence. And that way you're able to actually see people beyond their behavior, like a soul to soul connection. No matter what they're saying, no matter what they're doing, they're either acting consciously or unconsciously. They either know who they are or they don't know who they are. And forgive them for forgetting who they are in your presence, when they lash out, when they judge, when they hurt. It's like, forgive them. It's kind of like Jesus said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So take a deep breath. And I want you to just notice all of those judgments, all of the resentments that you're carrying toward yourself and others. How heavy are they? How long have you been carrying them? How much do you love yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like 100%, I totally know who I am and I love myself. And 1 being, yeah, I don't even know what that is. That makes no sense to me. How much do you love yourself? And I'll tell you that the bridge to loving yourself, the bridge to bridging heaven and earth and having this earthly experience be more of a heavenly one, is forgiveness. What if the purpose of life was to love? And it starts with loving yourself. And what if the purpose of time is to forgive? The purpose of time is to forgive so that you can actually return to love. You can actually remember who you are and live from that place. And so a lot of us, we're in the second half of life. My 51st birthday was yesterday. And it's such an exciting time, like this next chapter of my life. That I'm half a century, a little over half a century old is mind-blowing. And at this point, I care less what people think, which is pretty awesome. And I know a lot of you can identify with that, like the freedom in that, in caring less what people think. And the way that I've really freed myself layer by layer by layer is through the practice of forgiveness, the practice of Ho'oponopono, catching myself when the inner critic goes off, putting my hand on my heart and saying, I'm sorry. You don't deserve to be spoken to that way. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Those are the 4 phrases of Ho'oponopono, the mantra. So before I lead you through a forgiveness meditation, let's just feel the vibration of those words, because it's not just saying the mantra over and over. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. If it's a mental activity, it's not going to touch the energy. And the beauty of Ho'oponopono is how deep it can go to the energetic field of all of those thought forms that you're surrounded with, all of those criticisms and ideas that you're not good enough that are floating in your field and attracting your reality to you, magnetizing this reality to reinforce, because they crave being fed. These thought forms are like these fish in your auric field. It's like you're in this bubble, in this fish tank. And whatever thought forms, whatever your dominant thoughts are about yourself, whatever your dominant thoughts are about your life, that's what's in your field. And so when you can tell what's in someone's field, because you actually, when you approach them and you approach their auric field, you get close to someone, you can, sometimes it's like, ooh, yeah, not really drawn to that person, right? Because they're filled with like this negative, I'm not good enough, judgmental energy, right? And then some other times it's like a magnet where like everyone approaches, it's like they just feel safe, they just feel welcoming, because what's dominating their field, the thought forms that they tell themselves the most, their dominant thoughts are more positive, they're more loving, they're more kind. And so that's what attracts your reality. But get that whatever's there craves being fed. So your reality is going to mirror your dominant thoughts about yourself. So if you're constantly worrying about what people think, then you're actually going to attract that. You're going to attract a lot of judgment, a lot of criticism to reinforce, see, I'm not good enough. You know, I should be worried about what people think, because usually it means that you don't think that much about yourself. Right? And then that'll show up outside of you as an opportunity for you to recognize, this is mine. This is something I need to heal. So everything that shows up in your life, if we can just see what's the gift in this, what's the opportunity here. And that's hard sometimes because, man, some crappy things happen to good people. So it's not always easy, is it? It's not always easy. And so you forgive yourself. Forgive yourself when you're not able to forgive yourself. Like, I'm just not there yet. Because the first step is just feeling what's there, acknowledging what's there, getting honest with yourself. And then when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're actually willing to let that go and to enter a new chapter that's going to be unfamiliar and uncomfortable at first, that's when it's time to forgive. So how many of you are ready to let go of a layer of baggage, to take out the garbage, your mental garbage, all of these thought forms? Yeah, Diana, yes. Kathy, let's go. And everyone, yeah. So that's what this is. It's taking out the garbage, taking out the mental garbage, decluttering mentally, decluttering emotionally, that's carried in our bodies, this emotional baggage, and affects our health and our ability to really move forward because it's so heavy, right? And taking out the garbage physically, spiritually, on all levels. It's so powerful. And one of the things I've really come to realize with Ho'oponopono is, number one, how important it is to do the ha breathing. So aloha, this is a Hawaiian cleansing and clearing process that's been passed down from generation to generation in Hawaii. Aloha, alo is sharing, ha is divine breath. So we're going to do some ha breathing, because what that is that's plugging you into source, which is infinite. There's infinite love for you there. There's infinite energy for you there, to make the source your source of love and energy. Because we're limited. People are limited. If you make someone else the source of your happiness or love, then you're always going to get to a space of disappointment. And there's a fear of loss. There's a clinging, because if they leave, so does your love. So does that source, right, of happiness, of that source of love. So it's very important to, plug into your highest self, to the infinite part of you, the boundless part, as your source of happiness, of love. So it's infinite. It's there whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. Even when a person transitions and dies, that's still there, right? Their energy, that infinite part of them is still there and resides in your heart. So plugging in the ha breath, very, very important. And then the other thing I've come to realize with Ho'oponopono is the conviction of the heart that's required to really let that go. And being convicted, like, I am entering a new chapter of my life. So help me. It's like being done. I am done. I'm willing, because it's a willingness, right? If there's resistance because you really don't want to enter this new chapter, it's scary, you don't know what's there for you, it's unfamiliar, it's not going to work as well. So the conviction that you do it with, the emotion. So if you think about whatever it is you're forgiving. So today we're going to be, like I said, focused on self and all of the inner critic, all of the judgments we have about ourselves, all these ideas that are interfering with our true expression. Okay. So that's what we're focusing on. And yeah, so that's exactly what, if you think about the time that you're most critical of yourself, the time that you said just awful, heinous things to yourself, think about that and just how awful that felt. I want you to forgive on the same level of intensity with the awfulness that was felt there, right? The same, it's like the love, the intensity of love, the intensity of I'm forgiving that part of me. Oh my gosh. It's innocent. It's this child that was programmed. It's just you're forgiving, you're conditioning. Right? And it's nobody's fault. It's not your parents' fault. They were conditioned just like you were. But forgive with the same amount of like conviction and intensity as the incident created. So you can go to a specific incident, or we can just do or you can just do a general self-forgiveness process. So I'm going to invite you, this is a taste, and I could do easily a full week, like a week-long retreat all on forgiveness and Ho'oponopono. I mean, there's so many layers and aspects to this, and it's actually mind-blowing, the power that it has. And like anything, it's a practice, and it gets better as you practice it, right? Your body starts to familiarize itself with this letting go, this tool to release and to declutter. And it's just like the most fantastic thing that I know. So let's start with some breathing, and I'm going to walk you through a forgiveness experience. And then I'll stick around for a few minutes after, so that if anyone wants to share, ask questions. I'm not sure how this is live streaming on Facebook. I'm not even sure that it is, but I will post it on my page after if it isn't. So if you're on Zoom, you'll have that opportunity. And you can always also reach out to me if there's something specific that you're working on. I can completely channel an individualized session for you around that. So absolutely, you can find me at Living from Heart Center at gmail.com or on Facebook or Meetup. Okay, so we're going to start with some ha breaths. So ha breath, you want your tongue on the roof of your mouth to sort of keep the energy in and flowing. And you're going to be breathing really deeply in through your nose. So you're imagining that, this sun, this beautiful source, the higher self, God, source energy above your head. You're breathing it all the way down, all the way into your belly. And then you're gently exhaling with an audible, not forced, but just more of just a letting go, and really with the intention of plugging in to who you really are, right? Plugging into your higher self, because without your higher self, without divinity, then it's not going to work nearly as effectively if you're just trying to do it from a human level. Okay. So 7 breaths is the secret to really plug in. So let's do that. And then you're just going to follow the meditation as best you can. If you stray from it, it's perfect. No worries. So breathing all the way in and gently exhaling with an audible. Breathing in for 4. Feel the energy, raising the vibration now. 5th breath in and release. 6th breath and release. And finally, the 7th breath all the way in and all the way out. Plugged into the truth of who you are. Just allow your breathing to return to normal. Do remember to breathe throughout this process of forgiveness. If at any point you notice that you're holding your breath, I invite you to do a couple breaths to release whatever energy, because usually that's a holding on and a resistance. To really letting go and getting to the next level of who you are. Okay, now I want you to call in your divine support system. So whatever that looks like for you, if you have some loved ones on the other side, call them in to assist you. Call in your guides and your angels, divine source energy, to assist you with this process of returning to love, this process of freeing yourself. And just imagine that beautiful energy, all of those light beings coming in the form of white light and pure love, surrounding you, enveloping you in light and love and beautiful support. And take a moment to just feel grateful. Take a moment to receive. I'm willing to receive this love and this support. Open to it. Open your heart. Let yourself know it's safe. It's safe to be here. It's safe to receive. I'm ready and willing for the next level of knowing myself, of loving myself. Now I want you to imagine a stage in front of you, and on that stage is a single chair. So just see a stage in front of you, and I want you to invite yourself, probably you as a child, to walk across that stage and sit in that chair in front of you. Whatever age you show up is perfect, but inviting yourself in, that part of you that needs your love, that needs to be integrated, that needs to be forgiven. And take a moment to really connect and see this beautiful version of you, this beautiful child or teen. And with all your heart, I want you to imagine and to say to yourself, to this child, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. That's the vibration of responsibility, taking responsibility, not meaning that you're to blame. You're actually innocent, but responsibility is the ability to respond with love. And that's what you're doing now. You're loving yourself. I'm so sorry that life hasn't been easy for you. I'm so sorry for your experiences that were traumatizing and hurtful. And now with all your heart, say to yourself, Please forgive me. And just watch as you receive that energy, as that child receives the energy of forgiveness. Please forgive me for anything and everything that I said or did that hurt you. Every time I judged you and criticized you, every time I told you you weren't good enough or believed the messages that you weren't good enough, that you weren't smart enough. Maybe somebody told you that and you believed it because you were innocent and you didn't have a choice. You didn't have a discerning mind at that time. You were just open-hearted and trusting. So please forgive me for taking that on as mine, for believing that you weren't good enough, that you weren't smart enough, that you weren't pretty or beautiful enough, for believing those lies. Please, please forgive me for putting other people before you, before my own heart. And then tell this beautiful child, I forgive you. I forgive you for shutting down, for walling up. I forgive you for lashing out, for anything that you may have said or done from your pain. I forgive you. I forgive myself for playing small out of fear. I forgive you talking to yourself. I forgive you for letting your fear be bigger than your gifts, than your motivation, than your inspiration to share with the world and to love. It's okay. All is forgiven. And then say with all your heart to yourself, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to heal and to reconnect and to free ourselves. Thank you for showing up to love me and to assist me with this process and to reconnect with me. I need you. And just breathe. Now imagine a beautiful silver cloud coming in and resting over top of you and over top of this beautiful version of you, your child version, your teenage version, your young adult version. Maybe they're all there. And this beautiful cloud comes and rests over top of you, all versions of yourself. And from this cloud, silver raindrops begin to fall. Pure liquid love. Soak them in from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Pure liquid love. Allow it to come in and to cleanse and to clear all that old stuck energy, to loosen, to let go, to release, release, release. With every breath, releasing even more. Breathe, receive this love. This love is such a high vibration that anything that's a lower vibration, any of that density, starts to let go. And so just imagine all that darkness, those little specks of darkness and tension coming out of your organs and systems, your muscles, your tissues, your bones, your joints, every cell. Release, release, release through all time and space and all dimension. Everything that no longer serves me, anything that isn't love, anything that isn't true for me. Just breathe and release it all the way down into the earth through the bottom of your feet. Allow the earth to compost that energy for you, to soak it up. Just feel the release. Breathe into it. Allow it. Receive it. Now I want you to open to the love. Really allow that love to come in and fill up all the empty spaces that you just created by that release. Breathe it in through the top of your head, into every cell of your body, into every organ, all your systems, your muscles, your tissues, your joints. Breathe in love, unconditional love, divine love, the energy and the vibration of love, of truth. Let me be that. Let me know that. Let me embody that. I am that. I am. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with this new vibration of love, to feel the essence of who you are. Feel the essence of who you are. Let it in. Let it fill up your entire auric field with love, with positivity, with the knowing that you are good enough just the way you are. Calling in self-worth. Breathe it in. Breathe in clarity. Breathe in confidence. Breathe in courage and worthiness. Breathe in and connect with your knowingness, your truth. I am that. I am willing to know the truth of who I am. More and more every day. And with all your heart, look at yourself, this beautiful child, teen, young adult, and say with all your heart to them, I love you. I love you. And I'm so sorry that I haven't told you that more often. And starting now, I'm making a commitment to make you a priority, to put you first, to love you more, to acknowledge you every day when I look in the mirror, to see you, to see that little 4-year-old, the teenager, and to tell you how proud I am of you, how beautiful you are, how much I love you. Help me. I need your assistance. I need you to show me how to love you more. I'm open. I'm ready. I'm excited. Bring on this new chapter of greater love, greater compassion, starting with myself. Let me be the presence of love for myself, for all parts of me, accepting and embracing every single part of me, forgiving myself for pushing away parts that I didn't want to look at. I'm so sorry. And let me embody this more and more so that I may be the presence of love for everyone. That my presence itself will raise the vibration of any room that I'm in, any person that I'm with. And so it is. So a couple breaths to close the session. Releasing any remnants of anything that's ready to be released through the bottom of your feet, through the palms of your hands, asking Mother Earth to compost that energy. Release and allow. Allow the love and the truth to be your truth. Embody that. Know that. Good. So already your energy is going to be flowing a little more freely. This is deep energy work, so I want you to know that it will kind of come in over the next few days. So drinking extra water is always a good idea. Having a big tall glass of water after this session together is a really good idea. Salt baths are beautiful to go and have, especially the Himalayan sea salt, to put a handful of that in a bath tonight. to just help with the release of anything, any remnants that are coming up to leave. And so sometimes people feel a whole lot lighter the next day. They start to get more clarity of mind, more focus. Sometimes people notice, wow, there's lots of parts of them coming up to be seen and to be loved and thanked. And you might feel a little bit yucky as it comes up, but just welcome it. Know that that's part of the process. It's coming up because you poured in so much love, and that's such a high vibration that the lower vibrations can't stay. Right? They need to come up, they need to surface, and you need to say thank you, right? Thank you for the lessons. I'll keep the lesson and I'll let you go. Bless it on the way out. Get excited if all sorts of stuff comes up, right? Yeah, you're welcome, Diana. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome, Kathy. Yeah, so a few just long, slow, deep breaths. Look after yourself. So step up your self-care, knowing that one of the best ways to really improve and anchor in your true self-worth is by making yourself a priority, right? Making the time to meditate, to work on all the different aspects of yourself. Like spend some time with your mental body, maybe some writing or some reading, some positive affirmations. Spend some time with your emotional body. And that can be as simple as just a gratitude practice. Just 3 things you're grateful for, or 3 things you appreciate. That feeds your heart and your emotional body. Your physical body, do some qigong, do some yoga, do some shaking. It can be really simple. 5 minutes of shaking. So beautiful for your physical self, to just release the stress that you're carrying in your body, right? And then of course your spiritual body. So that might be 10 mindful breaths. That might be eating the first bite of every meal mindfully, really arriving with it. Like, what am I smelling, tasting, right? It might be meditation. Insight Timer is the best app. It's so awesome. There's lots of great apps and lots of meditations on YouTube. So you can do that as well. You can, just pick a 10-minute or a 5-minute. So really a self-care practice for half an hour a day. Having that practice, having that ritual is basically telling yourself that you're worthy. It's increasing your self-worth. So committing to that on a level of 10. So keep it simple so you'll actually do it. And I promise you, if you stick with that for a couple weeks, even a 15, 20-minute self-care where you're thinking, okay, did I do something for my mental body, my emotional body, my physical body, and my spiritual body? You're going to start to feel better about yourself. If you need some extra help and support with that, please reach out to me. Living from Heart Center. You can find me also in my Facebook group, Unconditional Love Coaching. Not unconditional, Unlimited Love Coaching, because I am an unlimited love coach. And I really want you to experience what unlimited love is like, that there is no limits, there's no heights. This is an infinite, boundless love. That's what I want you to experience by working with me. So I just want to bless you all. I raise you and I praise you in the name of love. I am in service to love. I am in service to the love that you are. And I love you. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone.